and this is Leonardo DiCaprio, and this picture of him with his girlfriend. They were saying, see, the original post said she's 19, he's 49. Is this creepy or no? And of course, because it's complete BS, it goes totally viral. And here is the context that was added by Community Notes. Leo was 45 when this happened. Camilla was 22 when that photo was taken 4 years ago. Not as if the left matters, because of course the ladies online, when they saw this, were like,
"How dare you!"
and were screaming,
"No, God! No, God, please,
oh
no!
God.
No! No!
Oh God, no, 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 please, no. Speaking of the word liberty, some of us like to take our liberties a little bit more than others. Sometimes it descends into licentiousness. Oh, and conservatives, when they look at the behavior of libertarians with our rock star lifestyles and our 19-year-old girlfriends, they just look at us and they say, oh, we're disgusting libertines. But you know, they're just totes jelly. They can't stand that attractive, mature men can get smoking hot, beautiful, young women. When the ladies hear it, because you know the problem is it's the older grannies who don't like their husbands, seeing their husbands looking at the younger ladies, and they're like, oh, it's gross, it's disgusting, it's creepy. I wish men would look at me the way Leonardo DiCaprio looks at his 22-year-old girlfriend. Well, you know, it helps that he's a movie star, but it also helps that he's basically the most universally attractive man in the United States. If you don't find Leonardo DiCaprio attractive, ladies, you're just wrong. And part of that is because many people in my younger days, when I was 50 pounds lighter, 15 years younger, compared me to young Leo. Yes, it's true. So when Camellia Peterson says that she doesn't find him attractive, she's basically saying that she thinks that I'm ugly. Good morning, Camellia. Welcome to the show.
Morning. Hold on. I think I need a sip of coffee from my Javier Malay mug to get me ready for this segment.
Nice Javier Malay mug, exclusively found at apforlibertyshop.com. Appreciate that. All right, Camellia. So I'm pulling up the picture on the screen. While we're talking, here's Leonardo DiCaprio. Now, there was a community note on this because the original post said she's 19, he's 49. Is this creepy or no? But the truth was that actually she was 22, he was 45. Do you think that changes things?
In 1922, you know. Potato.
Oh, okay. So over 21, 22, it's the same thing really for you in your mind. You conflate these two. 1922, if he's 49, same level of creepiness for you, right?
I don't, well, I'm an individualist. So, Leo can do what Leo wants to do. And here's the thing, though, is that, like Leonardo DiCaprio has a long-standing reputation for this. And you know that any girl, because we're going to call them girls because they're still girls, any girl who gets involved with them has to know what she's getting into and that she is but a temporary distraction in his in a long string of other girls.
Yes. Okay, fine and fair, but this is America, dang it. This is the land of the free, where men like Leonardo DiCaprio can become moguls in Hollywood and have beautiful woman after beautiful woman, all he likes. That is his life and his pleasure. It's our life and our pleasure to judge him for such. And I judge him, I deem him to be based and red-pilled.
So, one of the things that I was thinking about, I told you last night when you came up with this, I was like, I've been holding on to this thought about, men and this kind of whole conversation that I talk about now. Because, we've talked about a lot, before about the whole masculinity movement and, what feminism has done to women's expectations now. And, women think they can have it all. They can, have a career, they can wait longer in life to get married and have babies and those sort of things. And it's funny, like it doesn't work out, right? I think we're setting them up to fail with those expectations. But what we haven't talked about is the flip side of that. And kind of in this backlash that's been going on and this kind of very online conversation, which is, becoming more mainstream, is that are we setting up men for failure with unrealistic expectations. Because here's what I see when I go on Twitter X and look at these conversations that are happening. And I will say I believe they are very online conversations. But anytime you see something about like this thing with Leo or anything else, you see the conversation all around how that women reach their peak in their, mid-20s or whatever, and men don't reach
the peak of their beauty and fertility.
Right. And men don't, well, yes, there's a little bit of a distinction there. And men don't reach their peak until like their 40s or something, right?
The peak of their wealth and their power in society.
Right. So kind of the message that's being fed to men is that you have all of this time that you can wait, that you can, play the field. And then when you reach this point in your life where you're at your peak value, you're a high value man, so to speak, because you can all become high value men, right?
Yes.
Is that when you reach that point, all of those 20, 25-year-old women are going to be there and available and ready for you.
Now, wait, pause. Because you're not like going to say that's not true, right? Because that's the playbook I ran. Hold on, you're breaking up, Camille. I got to hear your reaction to this, right? Are you going to suggest that that's not a good idea for men? Because
I'm going to say that that's the exception. Right.
No, it's only the exception. It's only the exception because men have been brainwashed by not only social conservatives into thinking they should marry young, but just by society in general, telling them that they're worthless, they're pointless. Like, it's the red pill that is starting to wake these men up. I mean, Tony Martinez, I guess he's a fan of the late great Kevin Samuels. He says all single people looking to get married or have a relationship have what is termed sexual marketplace value. It is based on a number of factors, and it is, right? So and men and women want different things, but are you denying that men and women want different things and that we have different marketplace value at different times of our life? I mean, you recognize and affirm that exists, right?
Sure. I think that it exists when we talk about it in the context of, well, kind of in a sterile biological evolutionary psychology context, because it's almost really a hypothetical more than anything else, because we have not for a long time, and this is not something that's new in the last 40 years even, we have not for a long time seen this actually play out in real life. And one of the things I was thinking about, because men, when men have these online conversations in the comments and whatever, these are also men who are talking about this that I can guarantee you are not out there getting women, period. They're very online and they're having these fantasies in the comments on Twitter.
Feminist shame. Listen, everyone, this right here, what Camellia is doing, this is a feminist shaming tactic. This is what Camellia is doing. Is an analog of what the women online are doing to Leonardo DiCaprio. They want to shame you men into not behaving like this and not doing what I did, which is to wait until my sexual marketplace value was at its peak and then have the absolute pick of the litter in terms of the best woman that I could then settle down with, have a life with, who would be a good, traditional, homemaking wife who would bear me beautiful, redheaded, libertarian women children as well. Don't listen to them, men. Women don't want you to be happy in this world. They want you miserable like they do. They want you sad and lonely and beat into a corner where they can harass you and bully you and only give you a happy time once a year on your birthday in the closet, maybe.
I want you to be happy, and I don't want you to be lonely as you get older, because you set up exceptions as your normal expectation here. So this is something that I was thinking about. Purely anecdotal, but I don't know actually when you talk about studies that show anything in this realm, I don't know that there's anything that we could truly have a really significantly accurate gauge of what's accurate in this. But I've done a whole lot of knocking doors, right? And granted, the doors that I've knocked have been among conservatives. And I think that you would probably say that, this dynamic of the masculinity movement and, older men, younger women, in some ways is very often sort of on the conservative end of things, libertarian conservative end of things, maybe. But one of the things I've noticed as, I knock doors and you see people's data, is that married couples, vast majority of the time, are within a year or two of each other. It's very rare that I actually see a significant difference. And we're talking thousands and thousands of doors here. Where the significant difference where the man is much older than the woman. I've seen, several times where the woman is a few years older than the man. But
maybe that's the problem, right? Maybe that's why the divorce rate is high. Maybe that's why their infidelity rate is so high, because men have not been able to experience what women are really like by taking enough of a variety of women on dates in their 20s to early 30s so that they can recognize what is a red flag and what is a yellow flag when it comes to a female. And so they just find someone who's in their age group, and these men are being easily dominated by their wives, right? That's what I see, is that there's a lot of men who have submitted to their wives, who dominate them and then divorce them. And if that is the majority of situation, Camelia, and we know something needs to change, then probably the reality is that we need to start encouraging men to start finding women that are about almost a decade apart. That's what I would recommend. Stephanie was born in 1988. I was born in 1981. So we're 7 years apart, right? And so almost a decade, right? So we're removed from a generation. I have power over Stephanie. I have power in financial power with Stephanie. I have social clout power that Stephanie benefits from all of these things. She benefits from my experience. She benefits from my knowledge. She benefits from my social connections. And that would not exist typically if we were about the same age, especially because she has a higher education degree than I would, right? And so there is this temptation for women. They do these things to men. And Stephanie didn't even know these existed because she doesn't do them. But most women don't even know these exist. But most women do this. You know what a shit test is, right, Camelia?
I have read about it. Yes.
Would you agree that most women will typically test their men? You're always trying to make sure that he's firm and that he's fit and that he's ready to defend you. Most women will do this on the regs to, test their men to ensure that they are the alpha, that they're in charge, right? Do you know this happens? Would you agree that this is something that happens regularly? Women shit testing men?
I will. So yes, I do think that it happens, and I do see a lot of women talk about it. It's a little bit foreign to me because it's just not.
You're not like a man.
Oh yes,
You're
it's
not
also not something that I do either. But
no, yes, it is. You shit test even your guy friends. Women are constantly shit testing men. You shit test me all the time.
So do you think? Do you think so?
Yes,
do you think they? So then the question is, do they do it intentionally? I guess then is the question.
Well, if intentionally, if you mean your biological imperative is making you do it, then I think yes, you are doing it intentionally. You just don't know why you're doing it. But the thing is that what the red pill is waking men up to knowing why women behave like this feminist shaming tactic of shaming a man like Leonardo DiCaprio, who is a man of wealth and power and accomplishment, is to shame him they want to shame him so that they can hopefully bring him down a notch so that they might have a chance with him, because women are trying to date across or up. And the shaming tactics that women use is a way for women to try and insert themselves into the social dynamic and to level up themselves into a scenario where they're going to be more valued to more high value men. Shit testing is a way for women to test the firmness of a man. And there's nothing that will give women the ick faster than failing a shit test. Don't you get the ick when you do test a man and he bows to you or he simps, right? That behavior gives you the ick, doesn't it?
Well, okay. So yeah, if you're talking about whether or not a man can hold his own in a position of authority and how he responds to pushback from a woman, yeah, like a man who just folds and can't hold his own. Yeah. I mean, if there's something that's going to give me the ick, it's going to be that.
So let's give Camelia a point for honesty. How about 2 points for honesty?
So here's the thing,
honesty.
one of the things in the comments on the Dicaprio thing, which I think, a lot of times this comes down to, what do you want in your life? Like, do you just want the physical sexual aspect of a relationship, or do you want something, long term, somebody who's going to be with you as you get older? Because Leo's not going to.
Shut up, Camellia.
Just that's the reality here.
I just want to have sex with a beautiful woman with a perfect pair of boobies and great butt, and what about me and my saggy old butt? Don't you want me? I'm old and nobody's looking at me anymore, Camellia. Men want what men want, and they shouldn't be ashamed for liking a hot young woman with a great set of hooters and a great ass. All right, men? That's right. We love hot, beautiful young women, and it's time for us to stop apologizing for it, Camellia, and to stop feeling ashamed for liking what we like. It's time for you ladies to put on the little American flag bikinis and do a little dance while we drink anything that's not Bud Light this summer, because this is the summer of men.
I agree. 2024 is the year of men. But here's the thing. It's kind of like that song that Trump always comes into with his rallies. I don't know if he still does that anymore, but that song he came into with all the time was like, you can't always get what you want.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm your host, Austin Peterson. If you're enjoying the show today, it's our regular Tuesday and Thursday guest, Camellia Peterson, and where we play the game, Make Camellia Blush, and I think we definitely have done that today. We're talking a little bit. What, Camellia? What?
Well, no, I was going to say you can finish your intro.
I'm just trying to plug real quick, tell people to click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this content, and that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 a.m. Central is when we play the game, Make Camellia Blush, and we have a lot of fun, and it's very funny. And sometimes we talk about politics, and other times we talk about silly stuff like this, but there's a serious message behind it. Go ahead, Camellia. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, when you talk about the age difference between you and Steffi, which I don't think is that much, there are a lot of women. I think that, 3 to 7 years is pretty common age difference. But I also think there's a few different things I think at play with where we are now culturally. But when you talk about where you meet people, a lot of people meet in high school, college. So by virtue of that, you're going to naturally kind of probably end up with people your similar age to you. But the other thing in the comments under the Leo post, which by the way, Nick Fuentes was in the comments, which was just hilarious because we all know Nick Fuentes has never been with a woman. But anyway, but somebody made the comment in there about this formula, which I hadn't seen anybody talk about this in a while, where it used to be the formula for the age gap for men was like your current age divided by 2 plus 7. And Leo totally failed that. Totally failed that metric with what he's doing now. But I haven't seen, I don't know where that started, and I haven't seen that brought up in quite a while. But anyway, for what it's worth, there's a formula out there somewhere. So if the men are like, "Oh, is this acceptable?" I mean, maybe that's kind of been the social norm. But interesting to see, especially with more people meeting online these days, in another 20 years, how much it changes or not. My guess is it probably doesn't change a lot as far as what the norm is. Even with the masculinity movement.
You're just guessing, but I mean, the future is not set in stone. If more men like me and more women who are starting to recognize the social dynamics start to advocate for men to wake up and start dating younger women instead of women around their age, that if men could understand that if they can just get through their 20s without marrying a woman, without attaching themselves entirely to a woman, that if they can hit their 30s, get their career established, reach their peak physical prime, then they're going to be able to choose from the best of women in society, because not everybody's going to be able to get married. Not everybody's going to be able to have kids.
Sure.
There's going to be some leftovers, right? And at the moment, the dynamic is that the pool of men that women are actually attracted to or would consider, as partners is getting smaller and smaller. We've discussed this, right? And it's, because of all of what they believe is this false perception of choice because of dating apps. So the what women see as attractive in men is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So the female delusion calculator that we run online, right?
Yeah.
Most women, when they look at the potential men in the dating pool, it's like 0.3% of men actually fit the description of what most women claim they want. We can help widen that pool. We can expand that pool if we encourage men to not focus on women, right? To date women, yes, but to make women their secondary option in life, third, fourth, fifth. We need to set women aside because they distract us from doing the kinds of things that actually attract women. It's an interesting catch-22. If you pay attention to women, if you talk to them and listen to them, if you treat them like equals, if you treat them like men, then what's going to happen?
Well, a lot of women are turned off by that, but I will tell you, like there's a fine line though between, like, you can go too far with that, because I think a lot of men hear that and they think, oh, if I just do this, but at a certain point, like, the delayed gratification there, like a woman is finally like, okay, well, that was that, at a certain point, like if you do that enough, that it just, like, it's no longer the draw that it had before. Like, you can take anything too far. So I think
they say
here's
true
the
love
question,
waits.
though.
They say, okay, go ahead. What's the question?
Well, here's the question. So if we are messaging this to men, that this is what they should do, this is what they wait for, do we then, by virtue of that, shame men who have different tastes? Because not every man, like, I think there are a lot of men out there.
No, a
who
lot of men have
different.
A lot of men have simp fetishes, beta fetishes, cuck fetishes. There's a lot of men that enjoy being cuckolded, right? There's a reason why there's that chair in the hotel room that faces the bed, right? So that they can watch while their wife, right? So there is that.
Okay.
Sarah Sanchez says, that's why my boyfriend's best friend told him that she fits the profile for a post-divorce younger girlfriend upgrade. Very funny.
So that is like, there are a lot of people, like, I guess something I wonder about too is like how that will affect the divorce rate or not.
I would lower it. I think would lower it
maybe
because the majority of divorces are initiated by women, and it's because they either don't respect their man, or that he's not making enough money, or they want to drain him for all he's got. They're bored. I mean, women will divorce a good man just because they think there might be something else better out there. But if he's older, if he's 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 30 years older than she is, 40 years older than she is. If she's 40 and he's 80, right? If she's 20 and he's plus whatever 40, 60, right? Then the divorces are probably going to go down. 1, because she's going to respect him. 2, because he might die.
He's going to die.
All right, Camila, I got to go because my next guest, Brian Piotr, he's the guy who nominated Trump at the LP convention. It's going to be a good interview. Is there anything else real quick? Anything else you want to share before we go?
Awesome. No, just for the record, I know I said it in the chat, but I don't despise Leo. I'm Leo ambivalent, and let's just reiterate, for what the whole world knows, and that Leonardo DiCaprio is not hot.
Not hot. One last lie to leave us with. Camelia, we'll see you on I guess it is Thursday. We'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks for your time.
Have a great day, everyone.